I speak to you tonight as a mother, a former
I
prosecutor,
work all day
a
and get half drunk at night,
and yes, a proud
waking at
supporter of
4 to soundless dark.
President Trump.
I stare.
Why? Because
In time, the curtain edges will grow light.
for America.
Till then, I see what's always really there.
For the strivers, the working class,
Unresting death.
As commander-in-chief, he always puts America first. President Trump is the law and order president.
The mind blanks at the glare. Not in remorse. The good not done, the love not given, time torn off, unused.
They want open borders.
But at the total emptiness, whatever. The sure extinction that we travel to and shall be lost in always. Not to be here, not to be anywhere. And soon, nothing more terrible, nothing more true. This is a special way of being afraid. No trick dispels. Religion used to try. That vast moth-eaten musical brocade created to pretend we never die. And specious stuff that says no rational being can fear a thing it will not feel. Not seeing that this is what we fear. No sight, no sound, no touch or taste or smell. Nothing to think with, nothing to love or link with. The anesthetic from which none come round. And so it stays just on the edge of vision, a small unfocused blur, a standing chill that slows each impulse down to indecision. Most things will never happen. This one will.
Who blame America first. Do you think America is to blame?
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, broadcasting from Seoul, South Korea. Hard timestamp, Sunday, August 30th, in the year of our Lord 2020, Korean Standard Time.
God bless 2020. He's our Lord.
I always kind of liked using that phrase as a goof. Like, I think I had a high school history teacher who used it because he thought it was funny too, and I picked it up as like a tick.
It's funny.
You know what's not funny? This fucking RNC business.
Not a big fan.
So, okay, first immediate impression about the Republican National Convention is on the final day of it, fourth night. Trump's giving his big speech. I believe that's when he also accepts the nomination.
Think so.
Formally. He spoke for like an hour and 10 minutes, pretty long. And there were 1,500 people, which is a lot of people, all there in person.
Were they wearing masks?
I saw a picture, a kind of disturbing picture that might be floating around of it, where it's a pretty wide shot and you just see a single person in the middle of all these maskless people with a mask on. And so, yeah, I'm thinking not many.
She must have been a communist plant.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, about her. I'm like, I wonder what her deal is, like, and if people were, like, giving her, like glaring at her and stuff like that.
She was a masker for Trump.
Maskers for Trump. Yeah, he's got every other fucking sub-demographic, at least in some of these photos and some of this bullshit at the convention. But yeah, I can't shake the words and I guess the feeling and the ideas of death cult for the last like couple days as I've been like thinking about how to talk about this thing.
Is it the most successful death cult in our lifetimes? Well, yes, but is it the most successful death cult ever?
Well, I mean,
I'm not well versed on them. Death cults, I mean,
this might be a little controversial, but Christianity is pretty successful.
That's a good point.
And some would say it's just a very socially acceptable death cult in a way. Not in the sense that people like off themselves that often in the name of Jesus, but
Jesus doesn't like that.
The whole thing is based around like the human sacrifice or whatever. But that's a totally other subject, I guess. But yeah, this mask business, this like virtue signaling of masks. Now, Trump people like to say that liberal folk who are now fully on board with masking up, that they're the lame virtue signalers and they're brainwashed and so on. But I mean, it's virtue signaling on both sides, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, there's definitely virtue signaling on both sides. I think half of my Facebook is just filled with people in masks as their profile picture.
But I mean, on the MAGA side, the MAGA chuds, all the people in that fucking 1,500 person audience not wearing masks, except for maybe one or whatever, like they're virtue signaling their absence of a mask. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they have to show that they're not scared of any damn virus.
And
God damn it.
Any damn virus. And apparently they've already like traced, I think, 4 new cases of COVID. I mean, okay, the convention ended, what, 2 days ago, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Pretty recently. No, just whatever. Doesn't matter. And they've already traced 4 cases to the convention center in North Carolina. I'm still a little confused about where it was held because there was all this shit in the lead up where they were changing all the venues and canceling things. But it looks like at the last second, Trump just said like, fuck it, we'll do it live kind of thing. And
he was never not going to do it live.
But yeah, but I also mean like where they decided to do it. It seemed like it got split up into different venues. Like, actually, I don't know, and it really doesn't fucking matter. These are minute details.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't go Thomas Jefferson and just like have everyone to the White House.
Well, that's kind of what he did. He had that's like the biggest. I think the biggest concentrated crowd was his 1,500 seats at the White House. That
I should have known that.
Not really. Who cares? But Yeah, he didn't. I don't believe he ever left Washington, because why would he? But
Well, he has to go to his family home in Florida occasionally. Mar-a-Lago or whatever it's called.
Mar-a-Lago, yeah.
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago, my favorite swimming pool game.
You know, Mango, Rongo.
Margo.
So, okay, the fucking venue doesn't matter, but there was a lot more live events. There were people crammed together, that's the point. And it just, yeah, I mean, it's disturbing. Like, the people dying to, you know, stick it to the libs or whatever.
Doesn't it make you a little hopeful, though?
What, that these chuds will die off?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what somebody said when I posted that picture of the lone woman in the mask. I think it was one of your friends just said, like, very bluntly, yeah, hopefully they all just fucking die.
I mean,
they have to know what they're risking. I mean, I don't like the idea of, like, their innocent children catching it or whatever, of course, but, I mean...
they probably have children that hate them.
A lot of times, fuck these people. Like, if you're going to be so defiant about something so clear-cut, like a fucking pandemic, like, you kind of don't deserve to live.
They may as well start smoking and not wearing seatbelts and all the other shit that we know is good for us.
Why don't they eat fucking razor blades instead of cereal in the morning? It's even
part of a healthy breakfast. Razor blades. It's
just so idiotic. But anyway, I digress. I mean, now we're starting to sound like fucking Pod Save America.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Well,
I don't want to
it's my fault. I wanted to talk about this anyway, but
no, I do think there's a lot of virtue signaling with not wearing the mask and wearing the mask.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And it's a bit nuts to me because, like, obviously, this goes without saying, you should just wear the mask. But it's not a I'm on this side or that side. It's there's a virus out there. It's killing people. You don't want it, and it's been shown to be mostly preventable if you just take basic precautions.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you take them?
I mean, it's math. Like, I think it's just the way the rest of the world must look at it, and is the way that I think you and I must be feeling about it a little bit, even though we are American, or, you know, we're from there. I mean, I don't really feel that American in my identity or whatever that much anymore, but it's so strange to look at when you're living in a society where everyone wears the masks without a thought. Like, they do the normal, sensible thing, and people fucking hate each other in Korea for sure. This is a politically divided nation. There's protests all the time. They want the people on the right want the current president fucking strung up, like, literally. But they're not demarcating themselves from the liberals and the evil commies by not wearing fucking masks.
Has Korea ever had a president that wasn't, like, hated by one side and eventually ousted by the side that hated them?
The one before the last one wasn't ousted.
Oh, old 2MB? Lee Myung-bak?
Yeah, Lee Myung-bak.
His name is 2MB because of his initials, and the
right, E.
And E is 2 in Korea, and the side that disliked him referred to him as 2MB or EMB because he's has 2 megabits or 2 megabytes of memory because he's fucking stupid. He was like Bush.
Yeah, he was kind of the Bush, I guess, of Korea. He kind of wanted to Americanize Korea, but we're speaking of a country that's worse off than Korea these days, America, and their other major political party, and how insane they are as well.
Korea did have a spike in coronavirus because of non-maskers.
That is true, yes. Anytime there has been a spike in this country, and there's only been 3, counting the original one when everything's happened. So I guess 2 after the first wave.
And its spikes
was because of religious people and like this sort of charismatic preacher guy who said that he was immune from the virus and he could pray it away and so on. And then now Seoul is on like near like the 3rd level of lockdown, which up until now, like Seoul was, the numbers were super low. It's still relatively, it's nothing like New York or something, but
yeah. In defense of Korea, the numbers are lower than they've been in America, even with the spike.
Oh yeah,
since the virus started, basically. Like, it's numbers that America seems, well, I think they could only dream of achieving at this point.
Yeah. It's totally different situation here. But so a week ago we talked about the DNC. We went through some videos and gave a little commentary. We're gonna do the same thing with this RNC shit. Except we're going to go through a bit faster, hopefully, and talk about some other things after. But
do you have any pre-RNC thoughts? Anything you're expecting?
I haven't watched even all of the highlight reels yet, but I watched a fair amount of them. I was expecting something more entertaining than the DNC, and I'll just spoiler alert, it's really not at all.
Shame.
It's just kind of another convention, like not that different from maybe the ones you would have gotten in previous Republican elections, presidential elections. So I don't know. How about you? What do you want to make some predictions?
I predict that...
Will Mike Pence say a certain thing or whatever?
I predict that Trump will say the 5 words that made him famous. It is what it is.
Okay, it could be. I predict Trump will compare himself favorably to Abraham Lincoln. Sorry, that's fake. I already know he's about to do that.
There's not a president that brings to that. I can't think of another president that Trump resembles more than Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. How about Taft? All I know about Taft is he was a big fat man.
He died in a bathtub.
Did he?
Yeah, he got stuck in a bathtub.
No, I think that's lore.
Oh, is it?
No, the thing about the bathtub was that he had to have a custom bathtub built. Maybe he did die in a bathtub, but
damn,
I
really liked the idea of someone being a president being stuck in a bathtub.
I think you may just be conflating, confusing that story with a more juicy story.
That's a shame.
But he did have to have a special bathtub made for him in the White House. Fun fact. All right, let's start this shit because I want to get it over with.
Let's go for it.
4 more years! 4 more years!
4 more beers.
From a global pandemic to the deaths.
Also, I don't know who almost any of these people are, and I'm not going to bother to find out.
That's Cory Booker?
No, it's not.
Okay, I'll stop. That's
even on our
Elizabeth
worst
Warren?
day, we are blessed to live in America.
America is the greatest country on earth.
That's Pete Buttigieg?
That's cocaine personified, apparently. You heard about that, right?
He does have glassy eyes.
Everyone was saying that Don Jr. was coked out. I wouldn't have thought anything of it if I just saw him, I think. But now that people say it, I'm kind of looking for it. But
Joe Biden is basically the Loch Ness
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If I was fucking Donald Trump's son and I had to speak in front of all these people, I'd fucking
what he already did.
But
hoover up a few
how
rails.
does he know people to buy cocaine from?
47
He's
years.
rich, man. I don't know. He lives in
It's all
D.C.
on the line.
This is his girlfriend. She is the most memeable thing of the whole convention. Kimberly something.
He knows that political
Is that the lead actress from The
cancel
Net?
culture are dangerous.
Sandra
and
Bullock?
Just
Yeah.
plain wrong.
They look a bit similar.
Cancel a culture.
Wow, this guy's hair is fucking
In order to
ridiculous.
improve
Yeah,
in
that
the
guy
future,
looked very
we must
plastic.
learn from our past,
Plasticine.
not erase
Who
it.
made
We
these
don't
people?
give in to cancel culture. or
So
radical
they've got
and
a kind of,
factually
I mean,
baseless
I'm going to
belief
say it, a
that things are
token
worse
black guy
today
here to like
than
sort
in
of
the
buffer them from
1860s
criticisms of
or the
racism and shit.
1960s.
In much of
But
the Democratic Party, it's now
The RNC and the
fashionable to say
DNC
that
are
America
using
is
token
racist.
sort of minorities and
is a lie.
whatnot in
America is not
kind
a
of similar
racist
ways.
country.
And they're leaning
You've seen us
on.
your TV
Did you hear
screens and
that?
Twitter feeds. You know
America
that they're
is
not
not a
the
racist
people who
country.
Yeah,
back
that's
down.
funny. Here's the gun
Not
couple.
Neither is Donald
The
Trump.
St. Louis
President
gun
Trump
couple,
is the
the
law and order
lawyers
president.
who waved guns at
Democrats won't
people
let
who
you
were
go to
just
church.
walking by
How
their
much
house.
money have they made by
Democrats
waving
won't let
those
you go to
guns at
work,
protesters?
They'll let you riot. They'll disarm you.
They're already super rich. If you see the video,
I saw their house.
Yeah, their house
It was
is
fucking
huge.
ridiculous.
They're the scummiest type of lawyers there are.
Be here without the bravery and heroism.
What was it called? We talked about this. They're personal injury lawyers. They're a personal injury lawyer couple that loves guns and Trump.
They agree with that
It's a
too.
great combination.
But we cannot lose sight of the
So
fact
here's
that our police
Junior
are American
again.
heroes.
Joe
Police are
Biden
American
and Kamala
heroes.
Harris want a
This is too
cultural
hard to
revolution,
comment on, man. It's a flurry of
So
information.
much
This is an
information.
election between a party
And it's
that wants
all
to burn down the
false.
foundations of our country to the
Basically.
ground, and a party that wants to
Well,
rebuild
they're
and
not
protect our
saying
great
much
nation.
at all.
These radicals are not content with marching in the streets.
Let's
they
give
want
it.
to walk
I'm
the
sorry.
halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power. This is Joe Biden's party.
We see
I
a
wish
nation
it was
that
Joe
rises
Biden's
together,
party. God
not
damn.
falls apart
What do you
in
mean?
anarchy and
I
anger.
wish that Joe
While this
Biden was a
election
radical
Oh,
leader.
yeah.
Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
I mean,
It's
not
it's just
solely
you can
about
only
Donald
laugh at
Trump
stuff like that when
and
they're
Joe Biden.
when they're saying Kamala
It's
Harris
about
and
the
Joe
promise
Biden are
of
radical
America.
socialists. Like,
Ladies and gentlemen,
oh, here we go.
leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
That's very haunting, and they ended it right there, which was perfect.
What is the best? And
Okay, wow. I feel like
my brain's
that was dizzying.
my brain's a little numb. That was much faster takes than what we saw for the DNC.
And let's think about why. I was thinking about why. Like, okay, so this is the same news organization. This is NBC. They did the same. They did 4 highlight reels, about 5 minutes each, just like these, of the DNC. But the DNC ones, like, they kind of let people take their time to make their points.
Round 1. Fight.
All right, back from some technical something or another. We were comparing even just this highlight coverage of the RNC by NBC to the highlight reel coverage of the DNC by same news company.
Is it a substantive versus unsubstantive thing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, okay, first of all, we can tell immediately that the RNC one is like we were saying, like this flurry of like information, a lot of fast cuts. They don't let anyone really speak more than like 15 seconds, it seemed like. Maybe 20. At least in this first video. And it was really maddening. It was like, if we really wanted to keep up and like give you like a moment by moment critique, this would take like, I don't know, 18 hours.
Years.
Yeah, years maybe. Which also it benefits no one, because anyone who's going to listen to this already knows how full of shit these people are.
Every time the RNC describes the Democratic leaders, I just think, God damn, I really wish the Democratic leaders were the people they were describing.
Or more radical. But yeah, completely. Like, it's almost like it was the whole thing during the Obama years, right? He's a socialist. Like, it's just, it's beyond absurd. Like, it's not even much you can say about it. But, shit, man. What did you think of that first video, though? Anything stand out to you, or I don't know?
Well,
I mean, it was so quick, and it was just, we were talking over a lot of it, but I mean,
perhaps these videos will turn me into an anyone but Trumper.
maybe, or maybe you'll just go full MAGA.
Oh, doubtful. I wasn't sold. I'm not exactly sure. Much like the Democratic convention, I'm still not exactly sure what these people want.
How do you mean? I mean,
like, what do they want to do to make America this great place they're clamoring for?
Well, they don't. What they want is to win. They want to remain in power, and that's the same thing the DNC wants to reclaim some power. I mean, I don't know. And you've heard my thoughts on the Democratic Party. Like, I think they honestly don't even really care if they win at this point. They just want to.
I just wish there was another option. I guess a lot of people wish there was another option.
They do. We're gonna get into that later. I've actually got a few notes about that. But we gotta. I think we gotta just plow through these videos.
Let's power through day 2.
Moving on to day 2. Day 1. See ya. Never see you again. All right. So first thing we see on the screen here is Melania.
Melanie Trump.
I said to you earlier, I feel like I have never heard speak before somehow, because her accent like jolted me awake when I was trying to watch some of these videos last night.
You didn't hear her famous speech about online bullying?
I think I only read secondhand accounts. Yeah, if even that. But
she's not a fan of bullies.
And she's married to whom again?
Donald Trump. Famous for standing up against the bullies of the world.
Famous anti-bullying crusader. Yeah.
He has never once bullied a person.
Never.
God damn it.
Oh, actually, kind of speaking of that, the debates that we've been talking about on a few episodes now, it's come up. There's Nancy Pelosi came out and just said she thinks there shouldn't be debates because it will legitimize Trump somehow, to even give him the satisfaction of being on the same stage. And it's just tremendous bullshit. Obviously, the motivation is to keep Biden off of the stage because they can only control him so much. And if he's on the stage in a live event and like the opposition is there and Trump is there, Trump, famous, I gotta break the illusion, famous bully, he would bully that man into like weeping and screaming. Like,
I don't know if Biden would weep though. When you think back to like when Biden was on the primary before the thing, and people would say things that Biden didn't like, Biden would just be like, "Get off my damn lawn and vote for someone else." And I think that it would just turn into a shouting match.
I agree. That's that's probably the most likely scenario. But there, he was surrounded by people that loved him, like hung on his every word. Like that famous "Hey Fat" video. A whole crowd was clearly on his side. They were like, boo this man for asking a normal question about Biden that upsets Biden. Oh God, it just, I knew we were going to turn this into fucking Biden shit. But anyway, my point is that, you know, a lot of us over here on our side of things on the left, we were hoping at least just for comedy's sake that we would get some debates between Biden and Trump, because they're both like mentally addled cranks who have a tendency to just berate people until they get their way. And if they were both doing that to each other, it would be like pure comedy. But of course, I mean, as soon as Pelosi came out with this thing, I feel like that's the nail in the coffin. Like, they're just not going to do it.
I think they'll still have them. I know. We've already talked about this outside of.
I want to make I think we should make a friendly wager. But what could we wager? Should we just think about it? Or
we can wager an old 4 for 10.
What's that?
You know.
Right.
For 10.
Okay, low stakes, but I like it. Let's do that.
I mean, we're not rich podcasters by any means.
That's right. So if there's no debates, you owe me 4 tall cans of beer.
And if there are debates, you owe me 4 tall cans of beer.
And
then a debate live on why there were debates.
Yeah, we'll do our best impersonations of Biden and Trump and do a debate episode of the podcast. No, we won't.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'm not good at the impressions.
Honestly, I think debates are useless as they're televised. I want the debate to happen for just
comedy, entertainment value, yeah.
But every political debate I've watched on TV, either in like a primary for the Republicans or Democrats, or a debate between like the Republicans and Democrats, have found to be like banal and just be like, why even do this other than to.
It gives the veneer of democracy at work. Like it's so transparently false too. Like they're never like the formats are never fair. They're never really long enough. The way they gather the questions is totally flawed. Like yeah, I mean it's a fucking joke. Yeah, I've watched very few political debates because they piss me off so much that it hurts. Shall we watch Melania on this highlights reel?
Sure, I hope she tells me that online bullying's bad, because it is, I guess.
I think she's going to be talking about other stuff, at least on this highlight reel, but we'll see. Okay.
We all know Donald Trump makes no secrets about how he feels about things. Whether you like it or not, you always know what he's thinking. My deepest sympathy goes out to everyone who has lost a loved one, and my prayers are with those who are ill or suffering.
She's trying really
hard. The president
hard.
has held China accountable for covering up
Where's
the
her
China
mask?
virus and allowing it to spread death and economic.
None of them are going to be wearing masks, dude. That's the whole thing. They're signaling. Also, they are mostly all just...
they are by themselves.
They're doing Zoom shit. But Trump's not.
Who's this guy?
Our economic
No idea.
health is coming back with emergency spending and tax cuts.
Professional liar. That's what it should just say under his name. Oh, here's the other guy. Eric?
Wages went
Yeah,
through
that's
the roof.
Eric.
Unemployment reached the historic lows, especially for black Americans.
Wait, did they say Eric
Hispanic
looked
Americans
coked
and
up?
women.
No, it was Don Jr.
Trade deals were ripped up and
Yeah,
renegotiated.
Don Jr.
Lights were turned back on.
I still want to see the boxing
in
match
abandoned
between
factories
Eric and
across our
Hunter.
country.
As a
Is
recent
it supposed to be
graduate,
Eric or Don
I
Jr.?
can relate to so
Doesn't
many
matter.
people
I think
who might be
Hunter
looking
could take
for a
them
job.
both.
My father built
Same
a
time.
thriving economy once. and
Give him
believed
the right
he will
hit
do it
off the
again.
right pipe.
I learned
Yeah.
what was happening to me had a name.
All right, holy
It was
shit!
called
I
being
gotta.
canceled.
I swore I wasn't gonna pause
As in a
anything,
known-
but just 1 second.
as in-
The guy who's talking right now is that smirking asshole kid from the video that went viral. Who's smirking at the Native American guy.
They're a bit off topic, but look at his teeth.
Yeah.
See, he's missing an opportunity here. It's perfect time to get braces because you can wear a mask.
Yeah, you're thinking on a whole other plane of reality than me right now. you're way up there.
Apologies,
No, it's great.
can barely I can barely look at this kid's face without thinking, God,
Fix your teeth.
what's wrong with you?
All right.
Smug, smirking internet kid.
I just wanted to say who it was. Fuck this kid.
Revoked, as in made void.
Oh, right. Okay, so this is the thing about him. Big theme of the night is cancel culture and the problems with it. And would you agree, Jason, there are problems with cancel culture?
Yeah, I think there are problems with cancel culture.
For sure. Would you agree that they're what these chuds are saying they are?
No, not at all.
And what does that even have to do with the fucking election? It's just culture warrior shit. That they're just, it's more like not wearing a mask, signaling. This is all just signaling. This is their way of saying, we are not the same as Democrats, guys. I know it looks like we often want the same things and we are controlled by the same corporate interests, but look how different we are. Some of us wear masks. Some of us don't wear masks. Some of us wear red hats. Some of us don't wear red hats.
I thought this guy hated Trump. At some point of his career.
Rand Paul?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all fucking full of shit. Rand Paul is a complete
Moving the embassy
evil
to
asshole.
Jerusalem. Peace in the Middle East.
Today, because of the president's determination and leadership.
The thing that was going on about Rand Paul, I saw on like the surface level was him complaining about being attacked, quote unquote, like I think at this event, like in the streets when there were protesters or something. But he was acting like it was like physical violence, and it was just people saying like, fuck you, you suck, Republican.
I mean, it's hard being Rand Paul. From what I understand, he's constantly under attack by his neighbor who likes to mow his yard at weird hours.
I heard about that shit. What a, it's just the perfect thing to be known for as a like hardcore Ayn Randian libertarian is this guy who's really defensive about his fucking personal property. I don't know. Just
well, I don't know. These people get a fucking island like John Galt and Atlas Shrugged.
I'm sure there's people who've tried that in real life.
Yeah, I heard something about a yacht.
But what I always loved about that, I've never read a page of Ayn Rand's novels or anything. I've just maybe heard her speak on clips, but
bit of a truth moment for me. I've read all of her books.
Oh damn! Nah, that's normal though. I mean, you're a teenager, I assume.
I was a teenager. I mean, quickly outgrew them, but I guess I'm okay with having read them because it gives me a nice little insight in there.
Know thine enemy,
and I understand why people fall for the snake oil.
Yeah. It's
because it's a lot of. You're the only important person. No one else is important. Everyone else is wasting their life. As long as you make yourself better than everyone else, no one else matters.
I don't want to get too sidetracked on Ayn Rand, but I will just say I always found it funny that, from my understanding, just from hearing people talk about what happens in the book, whatever one of her big long books was, some group of libertarians starts a commune.
Yes.
A commune for libertarians. Do they not see like the inherent contradiction?
No.
It's very funny to me.
The way she writes it, she basically, it's a commune for libertarians and
in like Colorado or something.
Something like that. And everyone in the commune shares their genius ideals with each other. And they live in a commune.
It's really funny. Libertarians are kind of the funniest people to watch weird. Like flail around with their own like twisted logic or whatever. Now we've got what did Julia Louise Dreyfus call this man? Mika Pints.
Did we ever figure out if she was calling him a girl or not?
No, I didn't look into it. I do kind of want to know because her joke was so fucking stupid. It was not a
good joke. I mean, but
I feel like she's referencing something that we're not aware of. I'm hoping that's at least the case.
Is it like the coffee thing?
Kofifi?
Kofifi?
I don't know. The coffee thing. All right. Fucking Mike Pence is on the screen looking all fucking like he's got a goddamn, like the rod up his butt. It's got a rod up its butt, to quote whoever.
He's mad that he's not the president yet. He thought as long as I keep giving Trump these Big Macs, one day I will be able to forward the Mormon agenda.
Yeah, he's not a Mormon.
I thought he was a Mormon.
No, he's not.
No, are you sure?
He's just a hardcore like evangelical. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's a Mormon. I'm sorry to all my.
Well, because he's got that Mormon vibe, maybe a little bit.
I'm sorry then to all my Mormon friends.
Of like clean living and
such. Sorry, Josh.
No, go ahead. Look it up.
I want to see something.
I'm almost positive he's not Mormon. That would be like a bigger deal, right?
Probably.
Mike Pence Mormon ? He's not.
no.
You can tell right away he's not.
He is not a Mormon. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, it's not that crazy of a leap, man. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, but
no, but it's because he's like what. All I really know about this guy is he's got weird like sex hang-ups, and he's the real deal. Like he really believes the religious shit he professes. I think.
Can't be in the same room as a woman, right?
Alone, because there could be like accusations of impropriety, something like that. And he calls his wife mother the way that Reagan did, which is the weirdest fucking shit ever.
Isn't that pretty normal to call your wife mother?
Maybe it was in the 1953, but not so much these days. It's just very openly like like revealing all the Freudian mess underneath you. But
man, I'm feeling real guilty. Most of the Mormon people I know are fairly nice. I'm sorry that I. Also, most of the people I know from Indiana are fairly nice, and I guess Mike Pence is definitely from Indiana. Or at least he was like a...
I really don't know much about the guy, to be honest, beyond like the stuff that people just
he kind
make
of
fun
like,
of him for.
when he was running in Indiana, he kind of did like, he did the state real bad from what I understand. He's not popular, liked.
Yeah, he's a real fucking piece of shit, chud, mega chud. Let's watch him.
There's no doubt how President Trump sees America. He sees America for what it is. A nation that has done more good in this world than any other.
That's a funny thing to say.
A nation that deserves far more gratitude than grievance. And if you want a president who falls silent when our heritage is demeaned or insulted, he's not your man.
From Seattle and
Whoa,
Portland
all right, hang on a second there. That was so... The dog whistle just fucking shattered my eardrums. The last bit, he's gonna bring up the heritage shit. I mean, they're just whatever. I'm not surprised. I don't know why I sound surprised, but
has America done more good than harm?
No, I mean, look, you'd have to. The kind of moral calculus is like pretty difficult to figure out, but I think just by eyeballing it, you could say hell no. I don't know. Let's just get fucking through. This is only the second. No, this is the third video. Thank God. Okay. I don't know who this is. Let's see what she has to say.
to Washington and New York, Democrat-run cities across this country are being overrun by violent mobs.
I'm talking about the heroes of our law enforcement and armed services.
Don't know who you are either.
Leftists try to turn them into villains. They want to cancel them.
Heroism is...
They're really into this
Holy shit, they got a pirate?
He's a war hero, man. Show some respect. There's a gigantic fucking tank behind him as well.
Is that a tank or is that a battleship?
Oh, actually, I can't. Is it in the water? I don't know. It looks
way too big to be a tank.
Oh, I guess you're right. But my perspective is all off.
And he's a pirate, and a pirate would have a fucking battleship. I'm sorry, the guy's wearing an eye patch.
I know. I think I heard about this guy before. He's just kind of a fixture around the Trump people. Like, I don't know. He's like a war hero, supposedly. I forgot what I was going to say. I didn't pause it to look at this eye patch, man, but now I forgot my point. So let's continue.
Grace, not perpetual outrage. Heroism is
Oh, right. Just the repeating of cancel. Like, they're just like using these words. Like, leftists want to cancel our heritage.
Hey, Josh, why are you canceling their use of cancel? Can't people just use cancel when they want to, willy-nilly?
Yeah, go for it, but I'm going to laugh at you. Okay, here comes Eye Patch Man.
Building our communities, not destroying them.
President Trump and I will always support the right of Americans to peaceful protest.
Really?
But rioting and looting is not peaceful protest.
Okay, this is indistinguishable from
Tearing
the
down
Democrats'
statues
talking
is not
points.
free speech.
Yeah, they're the same.
Defund the police is the rallying cry for the new radical Democrat Party.
Joe Biden would double down on the very policies that are leading to violence in America's cities.
Doesn't he pause weirdly?
A little bit.
He's got like no sense of like human speech, really. He's very, very robotic.
Do you think he's a lizard person?
A what person?
A lizard person. Is there a lizard under the skin suit?
I'm going way more towards like robot AI combo something, but let's see.
The hard truth is, you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America.
All
Do you feel safe in
Under
President Trump's
Trump,
America?
We will always stand with those who stand on the thin blue line.
I feel safe in Moon
and we're
Jae-in's
not
South
going
Korea.
to defund the police, not now, not ever.
This is
Okay, did you see the shot of that crowd? Okay, so
I
that's different. They were socially distanced there, at least. I couldn't. It was from behind. You couldn't see their faces, but so we know at the Pints, the fucking goddamn it, Mike Pence speech, there was a live audience. A, that's fucking stupid. B, unlike Trump's thing, they at least did half the measures. Couldn't see any masks, but yeah, everyone was like separated by probably 6 feet or so.
Michael Pence was on top of the measures.
No, I think the what I'm getting at with that is that I think Trump wanted to be like, I'm gonna be the only one to go full on dangerous.
That makes sense.
Like
there was the moment when he was speaking about how no one's going to be safe in Joe Biden's America, and then it just clips automatically to this woman whose name shall not be mentioned
because we don't know it.
Isn't that Ann Coulter? It's not Ann Coulter.
Dude, you're bad with faces.
They all look the fucking same to me.
No, Ann Coulter looks like a fucking mummy compared to this woman. To be all fairness to her.
Oh shit. I was just gonna say the way they clipped to her in the middle of him talking about no one being safe, just to say defund the police, and then they go back to Mike Pence, and it's just like, I don't know, like. Do people even know what we mean by defund the police? It's not get rid of all the police. It's fucking... They don't need Hummers. They don't need tanks. They don't need military-grade weapons.
To be fair about that, I guess like people who say pro-defund police don't agree on what it means either. There's a lot of different perspectives out there on that. But like... I know what you mean. Like the people on the right don't have a fucking clue. They don't, and they don't care. They just know that it's the opposite of what they're supposed to want, basically. And honestly, there's a lot of bad representation of that idea on the left. Like to be a little self-critical here. Like I think that it's not, the ideas aren't being expressed super clearly all the time, but also within this situation of these kind of people, these fucking MAGA folks, like they're not going to hear anything you have to say anyway, no matter how calm and well thought out and reasoned, at least for the most part. Let's just keep going.
Democrat or left and right. This is an election that will decide if we keep America America, or if we head down an uncharted, frightening path towards socialism.
Oh, God, we might become more like our neighbors to the north.
I would like them to point out any Biden policy that's remotely socialist, or even left of center, to be honest.
I think he wants to continue the... government welfare to corporations.
Yeah, so corporate socialism. Yes, okay.
That's the only socialism that matters.
All right, they got another token guy here. I don't like. I feel kind of weird like saying that, but like not.
Yeah.
But not really. Like it's true. Come on. It's true when fucking Democrats do it. It's doubly true when Republicans do it. Yes, this is a non-white person about to speak on behalf of these horrible, psychotic, death cult, ready to go down with the ship people. And play.
Are the party that freed the slaves, and the party that put the first black men and women in Congress. It's the party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. And now, Tim Scott. and Donald Trump.
Good God. I mean, of course we know like the fallacy of all that, but like it's so gross to hear it repeated, especially by a token speaker like that. Come on. Like the Republican Party of Abraham Lincoln, etc. It's very different now. The Democrats look very different from when. Anyway, I shouldn't even have to point that out. It's just so annoying when you hear that kind of historical revisionist shit.
They know.
Who knows?
All of them.
What are you talking about?
They know that it's not the same. They know that.
Oh, the people saying
it's not the party of Lincoln anymore. They know.
I think Trump doesn't know though. But yeah, I don't know. Some of them probably do really believe it. They're like, they get into like Facebook fights with their friends and they like. Out. Did I?
Whatever you
Fuck.
Whatever you clicked was the wrong one.
I thought for sure that was the right one. Oh no. What did I do? How do I get that all back?
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, back from another technical error all on my part.
Lots of those today. It's okay though.
Bumbling series of events, sort of like a Mr. Bean type scenario, but with just like trying to operate a laptop.
It's sort of like the last 30 years of American politics.
What, fumbling?
Fumbling.
Okay. Here's where we left off. The Republicans freed the slaves. Don't ever forget it.
Socialism.
Republicans are the party that freed the slaves. And the party that put the first black men and women in Congress. It's the party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. And now, Tim Scott and Donald Trump.
How many like
difficult times, I expected to have the support.
How many
of my
Trump
family.
supporters do you think are watching these like little token
than I
speeches
knew.
and getting really pissed off?
As I came out of anesthesia, one of the first calls I received was from Ivanka Trump.
I would say it's a good solid like quarter per, like even if they won't say it out loud, inside they're feeling it. I'm saying they're fucking racist, and then, and even when this guy goes off about like Republicans were good for black people, they're probably like, yeah, but they shouldn't fucking be.
Just checking my face. Is she Ann Coulter?
No.
God damn it. I'm gonna have to Google her in a second.
Ann Coulter's out, man. Ann Coulter's like not part of the conversation these days.
Oh, is she in the?
I don't think she's an ever Trumper.
Is she in the Statue of Liberties against Trump campaign thing?
I don't even know what that is, but
something I made up.
I don't know. She's just, her relevance is long over. And now a man in a wheelchair standing up, because the power of Trump.
For which I stand.
Oh.
One nation under God.
Wow, he's really going to do
liberty
this.
and justice for all.
Donald Trump is the most
This was going around
president
everywhere.
that this nation
This
has
nun.
ever had, defending life at all stages.
N-U-N.
His belief in the sanctity
Wow, they
of
got
life
a nun.
transcends politics.
Okay, but do you know what her whole angle was that night?
Abortion?
Yeah. And Donald Trump has... Actually, I take that back, because I don't think of Trump ultimately as a very sexual person. But were he to have been, he would have had like thousands of abortions by now.
I'm sure he has paid for an abortion at some point
definitely.
of his life.
But like,
either his.
If he was more sort of normal in his sexual appetites,
Now, last week, Joe Biden
he would have
said
probably paid for like hundreds by now.
that no miracle is coming.
And
Christians are
so
all
wait, so
about...
Don Trump really says with a Donald Trump
Donnie Trump
says with a straight face that he's pro-life.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons that Christians vote for him.
But he was publicly pro-choice for a long time.
Yeah, but
I guess he saw the light.
He realized the way to get the vote is to make sure that babies are being born into situations where they won't be taken care of.
Right. I was just saying that, like, usually politicians, but, you know, Donald Trump's not a usual politician, as they say. Usually politicians say, like, pints there. They start off pro-life, they end pro-life. They don't make that jump, you know. They rarely make that jump from one to the other.
I imagine Trump, like many other politicians, doesn't have any beliefs.
Oh, and of course. I know like tons of Republicans say they're pro-life, but like secretly are having abortions all the time. But it's just funny how his public persona gets so ignored by the people that love him now. Yeah, utterly forgotten. Like he was like intentionally like modeling himself as like kind of a sleazebag. Like that was his whole brand.
Yeah. As long as he keeps packing the courts with right-wing judges,
they don't give a shit.
The Christian community doesn't care. That's why he's in office. He's in office to win the abortion battle that's been fought by that community for years and years.
And then even though Trump isn't actually pro-life, I'm certain of it, he also doesn't give a shit about people's access to abortion. So whatever makes him popular, right?
He would have access to abortions regardless of legality.
And it's also probably not really a concern for him anymore, personally. But
no, he has 2 dicks.
We've established this.
I've seen the picture now.
This is canon. We saw the documents, folks. We saw the images.
I've seen the blueprint.
Weird. It is a blueprint. I gotta post it somewhere.
Yeah,
I know you said
we'll link to it.
It's too dark for.
It was a bit much for my feeble mind, but.
You're such a prude, man. Can't you handle a really weird drawing of Donald Trump with 2 penises?
I've seen so many weird drawings in my life. I've even made weird drawings.
Okay, if you want to see the picture, there'll be a link in the description.
Let's go to day 4. Day 4 when we get to see the trumpeter in action.
Oh, and this is the shortest of all the highlight reel videos, too.
Short because...
But his speech was long as fuck.
Short because... Who knows why it's short?
I think because they were also like, let's get this over with. Like, they felt obligated to do it. That's the other thing I want to say. And we kind of touched on it for a second. But, like, do you get a sense of, like, an NBC, like, angle to this at all? It seems somewhat neutral. Although they're, like... There
was more gushing during the Biden thing.
For sure. But, like... It almost helps them out to have this, like, fast-paced, like... fast edited thing together where it's just a bunch of people like bombarding you with Republican talking points. I don't know. Like it seems still like effective propaganda.
It does, and I have no clue who NBC would support. I imagine most of the people working there
would like
Biden to win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Trump has made like the news industry a ton of money from what I understand. It's just like a constant like stream of news. If nothing else, fact checkers are in the most demand they've ever been. Checkers, I know it's checkers.
Not chess, checkers.
Checkers.
Yeah, I don't have the will to like look up where NBC is on like the web of corporate interests, but I imagine they're somewhere they lead up to some like ultimate like umbrella corporation that can make either president work in their favor, so it doesn't really fucking matter to them.
Everyone knows that the media is owned by liberals.
Right. All right, here he is, man of the hour. He, like I said before, he gave an hour and 10-minute speech, while Biden's was, I believe, 24 minutes.
Where's his cheeseburger?
And I find that kind of funny for 2 reasons. One is Biden's was short for obvious reasons. They didn't want him sundowning, like they were trying to manage everything. Because his speech was like short even for normal expectations at these things. And Trump's is, I guess, probably longer than usual. It definitely is. And that's just because he's fucking Donald Trump. He loves the attention. He showed up all 4 days of this thing. Like he made appearances either through Zoom or whatever. He was just kind of like, hey, this is all about me. Don't forget about me. Typical Trump. Narcissist.
It is what it is.
Boring stuff to even rehash, to be honest. So let's just listen to what he's got to say, I guess.
I'm very, very proud to be the nominee of the Republican Party
Wow, their fireworks are better than the Democrats' fireworks. The fireworks are spelling out the name Trump and the year 2020.
It's hard to spell out Biden and fireworks.
Is it?
Have you ever tried?
The party had moved from liberal to radical. This new Democratic
Yeah, it has moved
just for higher taxes.
Completely to be.
I kind of want to know who this guy is because of this shit.
Our God-given rights.
Okay, I got it.
Open borders, I wish.
Whatever. This is so boring.
Time before, have voters faced a clearer choice between two parties, two visions, two...
Do you see why we spend more time attacking the fucking Democrats? This is boring. This is shooting fish in a barrel. This is too easy. This is too... Every word out of their mouths is fucking horseshit. So, like, all these people who spend day in, day out, fucking, you know, the Rachel Maddows, etc., like, obsessed with this man, obsessed with following his every move, like... We should have been building a third party this whole fucking time.
I feel like every time that people, quote-unquote, follow his every move and make their whole life around attacking him, all it does is, like, legitimize and make him stronger. It makes the party stronger. It makes the people who are already, like, part of the Republican base or the GOP dig their heels in more and say, fuck these people. Why are they attacking us?
That's their whole thing.
It gives them more like license to go farther and farther right. And it seems with the Democratic Party that as they go farther and farther right, the Democratic Party's like, oh, fine, the middle's there now. I guess because we're centrist, we'll just go and meet you over there.
The whole, I mean, it's old news, but the whole thing's shifted drastically right. I mean, like, even the people that we call centrists, they're moderate Republicans at best. I mean, Obama was a moderate Republican, basically. Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Let's just finish this.
Philosophies or two agendas.
The radical left doesn't really want better policing.
Who's
They don't
that?
really
Who's
care
that
about
now?
making the justice
Biden?
system
Harris?
fairer. What they want is no policing.
Bizarro Gore.
Biden is a...
Okay. We got to address this no policing, defunding, because this was the other huge talking point throughout the whole convention was Trump wants to take away the police. Trump has very, very, very vigorously even, like, denied that he is pro defunding the police. In fact,
You mean Biden.
What did I say, Trump?
You said Trump.
Okay, I meant Biden. He and even our boy, Bernard Sanders, in light of everything, they're actually calling for increasing budgets. Bernie, at least with the caveat that he doesn't actually say let's give the police more money, but he says there should be better training, which in some ways would probably mean more money, because he's not talking about demilitarizing either, as far as I know. But Biden, 100%, is like on the same page as all these fucking idiots who've been talking all night at this thing. He's like, no, 1,000% no, we need the cops. Cops are great. I would, in fact, want to give them more money.
Cops protect assets, and Biden probably has a lot of assets.
Their vice presidential candidate is a fucking cop.
That too.
In so many... In a sense, you know, whatever. Anyway, just again, see, this is why, though, folks. This is why we usually don't spend a lot of time from our particular political vantage point taking down these GOP fucks, because
it's easier to move the Democrats more to the left than it is the GOP,
and even
it's
that
becoming
is like,
more and more impossible to get the Democrats to move left. So
yeah, so like this is just for laughing at, in a way. Like,
well, we have to see what they're doing.
Well, we should, yeah, we got to know what they're doing, of course. But like the people that are like, that's 10 more Pinocchios for Donald Trump, like, as if that's gonna fucking equate to anything. Like,
no one fucking cares if he's lying.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit if he's a hypocrite, if he's a liar. Like, But there's like a whole industry within like within like the neoliberal stratosphere that just lives off of this.
As long as we can keep an underclass of people working and just barely eking out an existence, both of these parties will be happy, I think. They don't want people to like live on somewhat equal footing, because that would ruin all of their perceived hard work, no matter what like situation they were born into in the natural lottery. If suddenly it's easier for people who weren't born into like a good position on the natural lottery to like exist, then they would feel like all of their precious hard work that mom and dad sponsored went to waste.
Yeah. I mean, like the political class, like the ruling class, whatever you want to call it, like it just doesn't help. The thing, even if they're not like callous monsters, which I believe most of these Republicans are, and I believe a good majority of the Democrats are too, their behavior is monstrous. The effects are monstrous. Fucking good intentions. We all know what those pave. We're so close. I'm having flashbacks to last week when we were just like, we're so close to the end of this fucking video. Finish him.
It's the last quarter mile.
Okay.
Trojan horse for socialism.
He's a Trojan horse
for socialism.
Bernie, AOC, Pelosi, Black Lives Matter.
All right, God damn it! I gotta pause it one more time.
How did they get Drew Carey in this?
You think Rudy Giuliani looks like Drew Carey? I guess the glasses.
He's got those glasses on.
And yeah, Drew Carey lost a bunch of weight or something. But
I think Rudy gained some weight.
Yeah, maybe that's what's going on. They're meeting in the middle.
When you're living life 1 quarter pounder at a time.
Jesus.
Okay.
No, I love it. No, this again, just this whole idea that AOC and Bernie are like sneaking in through the Trojan horse of Biden, like it was all this plan all along to sneak Bernie in. If the Democrats hadn't fucked around and found out, Bernie would be the one like walloping Trump in the debates right now. But
we didn't want a Trojan horse. We wanted a fucking revolution.
Well, right. And the status quo centrists of the Democratic Party don't want a Trojan horse either. They have muzzled Bernie effectively and AOC. Like they're being like subsumed by the sameness of the party, because everyone has to fall in line lockstep that the only thing worth focusing on is getting that orange man out of the goddamn White House. All right, fucking. Sorry, do you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Wow, this is a doozy of an episode. I was curious. All right.
And his party's entire left wing.
They want to defund the police and take away your Second Amendment rights. They want free health care for illegal
Mitchell McConnell.
No protection at all for unborn Americans.
Famously Turtle Man.
I recognize that my dad's communication style is
Oh man, Trump's daughter's so hot. If I was him, I'd want to fuck my own daughter too. That's what at least 30 million people are thinking while watching this.
And he keeps them. He is transparent, and we certainly know what he's thinking.
Oh fuck, man! I just had a.
miles
Never
of
mind. I don't need to
boardwalk,
say it on the podcast.
And we are adding 10 new miles every
I
single
confused
week.
Ben Carson with Herman Cain for a second because I was like, "Isn't that guy dead?"
Modestly, that I have done
Oh,
more
shit.
for the African American community than any president since Abraham Lincoln.
There's
President
the
Trump
line of
rectified
the night.
disparities of the 1994 Biden crime bill that disproportionately hurt.
Ivanka is the most well-spoken, I think, out of everybody so far.
I imagine she went to good private schools.
Yeah, finishing schools and such.
Biden's record
is a shameful roll call.
I love Trump's body language, by the way. He's really slouched over. Like, he just is so comfortable.
He's a bit relaxed.
He's so relaxed.
He's like, I've been doing this my whole life.
We want a society.
I should have been
He's
president.
like literally like leaning on one elbow, like he's he's leaning up against a locker in high school, trying to ask out the girl to the fucking dance. That's what he looks like right now.
All charter schools ripping away.
I mean, it's
the
all
ladder of
facade. He's the most
opportunity
like
for black and Hispanic children.
low self-esteem man in the world.
20,000
But
gang members and
he was really
500,000 criminal aliens.
he was really feeling
The goal
himself
of
there for a
cancel
second.
culture is to make decent
There's that cancel
Americans
culture
live
thing
in fear
again.
of being fired, expelled, shamed, humiliated, and driven from society as we know it.
That's my job.
America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to plant.
Wait. We're sending a woman to the moon?
flag on Mars.
Did you hear what he just
You are
said?
the reason he.
Yeah, we're going to put our flag on Mars.
What was that? What's your question?
Oh, he said we're going to land a woman on the moon. I didn't know we were planning on doing that.
I didn't either. I think he probably just made that up on the
He's going
spot.
to keep fighting for 4 more
He's going to send his
years.
daughter to the moon.
He was fuck. He was probably running out of stuff to say, but like, and just I'm trying to imagine the thought process. I think we were about here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where he's just sitting there, and in his mind, he's like, "Oh man, these people are eating out of my hand. Look at, they're all willing to die for me. They're all." Thank God I pressed the right button. Okay. Yeah, here we got a good shot of the crowd here from the back, but yeah, you can tell they're not wearing masks, and they're just packed in there right in front of the White House. I wonder when the last time a president had like a huge speech like this in the very front of the White House. They don't do that normally. It seems like so gaudy and ostentatious. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. That's Trump's brand. It's totally on brand. There's no less than like 6,000 American flags there as well. But what were you saying?
Oh, an emperor has to give their decrees outside of their palace.
That is the look that is being gone for, I think, for sure. But in Trump's mind, he's just like, it'll look cool. I'll be right in the center with the big White House, behind me. Okay, I wish I had a Trump impression.
I want a president that gives their speech from the top of an air carrier, personally. A flying air carrier. Like,
we're going to have a talk after the podcast, man. And then it will be mission accomplished for me. Okay. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Every child can live in a safe community
Ivanka's back.
and go to a great school of their choice.
Biden also vowed to oppose school choice and close all charter schools, ripping away the ladder of opportunity for black and Hispanic children.
No.
And we have deported 20,000 gang members and 500,000 criminal aliens. The goal of cancel culture is to make
we watched this already.
Americans live in fear of being fired.
So you know
expelled,
the reason to get rid of
shamed,
charter schools or private schools, right? Like, if there's no charter schools or private schools, then that means rich people actually have to start pouring their money into public schools.
Right.
And public schools get better for everyone.
Yeah, and that's not fair to the people who work
You
hard.
are the reason he is going to keep fighting for 4 more years.
But also, Biden has no strong positions on charter schools or anything like that. It's all fucking made up.
Hey, NBC News
My
viewers.
God damn, that's fucking mind-melting. In mind-melting, I mean, the other ones was mind-melting too. I remember how I felt after watching that, but just in a different way. I don't know. This one was like, it was so aggressive, like like the speed and the tone of it.
Yeah,
but the messaging, there's no surprises. It was all just everyone was on brand.
I'm still 100% against the RNC.
Thank God.
While I'm mostly 90% against the DNC in its current configuration.
We remain unchanged,
I'm
men.
Basically left with no options. I have been told in the past to, if you don't like it, just fucking leave, and I did.
Right. Yeah, how do you like us now, motherfuckers? I got health care over here, at least.
I live in fear of being kicked out of this country, though, at times. But
Really?
No, I just live in fear that I'll have to go back.
It's never even crossed my mind, honestly. Unless you know something I don't.
I live in fear.
I mean, I live in fear too, just of different things. But I guess that brings us to a sort of final segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
So speaking of feeling like there's no options, feeling trapped by this duopoly, I was watching a video earlier that I saw when it came out about 4 years ago. It was right about around the same time, I guess, in the election cycle. And it was on Democracy Now! It was Robert Reich, I don't know, he's an economist. He worked for Bill Clinton as something or another. I can't remember at the moment.
Labor secretary?
Yeah, that sounds right. And he was debating Chris Hedges, who's known as sort of more of a militant leftist or whatever. I mean, it just means he has like real political commitments. And they were basically debating, like, should we bite the bullet and or plug our nose and whatever and pull the lever for Hillary? And of course, Reich was saying we should. Hedges was saying we shouldn't. Hedges was very upfront about how he was going to vote for the Green Party. And I just wanted to play a couple minutes of what Hedges had to say because I thought it was good, and I want to talk a little bit about the possibility of creating a third party in the U.S. or the impossibility of it. Let's find out. We're going to start with just a little bit of what Robert Reich was saying in the beginning, just his general sense, and then it's going to go into the Hedges.
Continue. In fact, it's going to grow. And right now, at this particular point in time, I just don't see any alternative but to support Hillary. I know Hillary. I know her faults. I know her strengths. I think she will make a great president. I supported Bernie Sanders because I thought he would make a better president for the system we need. But nonetheless,
there's
Hillary
two screens,
Clinton
and the screen next to Robert Reich right now, they're showing all of the disgruntled Bernie supporters at the convention with like tape over their mouths and
tremendously worried.
Man, I was definitely on their side.
The alternative, and the alternative, really, as a practical matter,
do you remember when
who is a megalomaniac and a bigot, somebody who will set back the progressive movement decades, if not more.
Aside, do you remember Sarah Silverman telling everyone to stop being a bunch of whiny kids, basically, at that? She was there.
I do.
When people were like booing Hillary or something, and she was just, I forgot exactly what she said, but it was really annoying. And she was like a big Bernie supporter until they fucked Bernie, like always. Anyway, that was just a dumb aside. I just remember that, and it made me kind of think quite a bit lesser of Sarah Silverman. But moving on to what Chris Hedges has to say, sorry, you want to add on that?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm probably voting for the Green Party, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I also don't even, I think it would be good if they got their 5%, because then they get some federal funding, but let's continue that discussion after we hear what Mr. Hedges here has to say.
Chris Hedges,
Well, reducing the election to personalities is kind of infantile at this.
Be forewarned, Chris Hedges speaks in quite a monotone, but he's making a lot of good points, so stay awake out there, dear listeners.
At this point. The fact is we live in a system that Sheldon Wolin calls inverted totalitarianism. It's a system where corporate power has seized all of the levers of control. There is no way to vote against the interests of Goldman Sachs or ExxonMobil or Raytheon. We've lost our privacy. We've seen under Obama an assault against civil liberties that has outstripped what George W. Bush carried out. We've seen the executive branch misinterpret the 2001 authorization to use military force act as giving itself the right to assassinate American citizens, including children. I speak of Anwar al-Awlaki's 16-year-old son. We have bailed out the banks, pushed through programs of austerity. This has been a bipartisan effort because they've both been captured by corporate power. We have undergone what John Ralston Saul correctly calls a corporate coup d'etat in slow motion, and it's over. I just came back from Poland, which is a kind of case study of how neoliberal poison destroys a society and creates figures like Trump. Poland has gone, I think we can argue, into a neo-fascism. First, it dislocated the working class, deindustrialized the country. Then, in the name of austerity, it destroyed public institutions, education, public broadcasting, and then it poisoned the political system. And we are now watching in Poland them create a 30 to 40,000 armed militia. They have an army. The parliament, nothing works. And I think that this political system in the United States has seized up in exactly the same form. So,
do you know anything about the stuff going on in Poland? I don't.
I knew more about it then. I have not followed that closely at all in 4 or 5 years.
Him talking about that just sort of reminded me that I don't pay enough attention to the politics of most other countries, because just paying attention to the fucking U.S. is so overwhelming in itself. But
I follow U.S. politics and Korean politics.
I don't even really follow Korean politics that closely, but I probably should. I don't know. It feels like a full-time job just to fucking deal with all this shit that comes out about America, especially these days, I guess. But I'm not making excuses. I should be more aware of international things. I had no idea about this neo-fascist uprising in Poland.
Oh yeah, it was really big, and
maybe I forgot. I don't know. Just a couple more minutes here.
So is Trump a repugnant personality? Yes, although I would argue that in terms of megalomania and narcissism, Hillary Clinton is not far behind. But the point is we've got to break away from, which is exactly the narrative they want us to focus on. We've got to break away from political personalities.
That would actually upset so many people.
And critique the structures of power.
To
and
the
in
point
fact,
of
the
tears.
Democratic Party, especially beginning under Bill Clinton, has carried water for corporate entities as assiduously as the Republican Party. This is something that Ralph Nader understood long before the rest of us. And stepped out very courageously in 2000.
Do you like
and
these
I think
Nader
we will
stand?
look back on that period and find Ralph to be an amazingly prophetic figure.
Is the best politician in
corporate
America.
power better than Ralph. And I think now people have caught up with Ralph. And this is, of course, why
I kind of want to replay
Dr.
what he just
Stein
said there. Sorry.
And I think we will look back on that period and find Ralph to be an amazingly prophetic figure. Nobody understands corporate power better than Ralph. And I think now people have caught up with Ralph. And this is, of course, why I support Dr. Stein and the Green Party. We have to remember that 10 years ago, Syriza, which controls the Greek government, was polling at exactly the same spot that the Green Party is polling now, about 4%.
That's interesting.
We've got to break out of this idea that we can create systematic change within a particular election cycle. We've got to be willing to step out into the political wilderness, perhaps for a decade. But on the issues of climate change, on the issue of the destruction of civil liberties, including our right to privacy. And I speak as a former investigative journalist, which doesn't exist anymore because of wholesale government surveillance. We have no ability, except for hackers. I mean, this whole debate over the WikiLeaks is insane. Did Russia? I've printed classified material that was given to me by the Mossad. But I never exposed that Mossad gave it to me. Is what was published true or untrue?
That's a point that was so constantly missing from mainstream discourse when the leaks came out, the Podesta emails and all that shit. It drove me fucking crazy every time I heard it. They're like, how dare this Russian conspiracy, this blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, even if it was, do you deny the authenticity of these emails? They never did. These emails are fucking damning.
Yeah.
But no one had to pay attention to what they said because it was just, well, the emails were used to torpedo Hillary's campaign. And why did it torpedo it, if that's even the case? I don't even think that's really what cost her the election.
I mean,
what cost her the election is what everybody knows, is that she didn't campaign in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, wherever, these swing states. And she was so confident in her poll numbers, and she fucking lost. That's why.
To be a Hillary stan, just to make sure you're aware.
But
she won the popular vote.
I'm very aware of that.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever told you.
Has anyone said that in the history of
But
humanity?
most Americans preferred her.
Most Americans who voted, which is what a percentage was that year? It was I think it was maybe one of the lowest turnouts ever.
Yeah, I feel like I heard something similar.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I bet this election has a lower turnout.
Probably. I mean,
though I think people are expecting it to have a giant turnout, but I think that a lot of people are more complacent than everyone realizes.
I think this is the shit sandwich versus shit other food.
South Park did an episode of this.
Oh, shit sandwiches?
No, Cartman has to vote between a shit sandwich and a turd.
Okay.
And everyone's saying, you gotta vote, or some bullshit like that.
Damn it. Well, I'm so sad that I stumbled into being a fucking, like, Trey Parker.
Yeah, because I think both of them, Matt and Trey,
they're libertarian douches.
They're like enlightened centrist almost, though, right? Because I've heard them talk about how they don't consider themselves political at all. I think all politics is fucking dumb.
That's a political statement and a stance in itself. So,
and fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. Yeah. I mean, my understanding is they're more like kind of libertarian bros, like. But anyway, South Park. I'm sorry I conjured up South Park with my bad analogy, but
I'm the one who
it's okay.
Knew that it was.
I was at a loss for
South
words.
Park reference.
I was at a loss for words. Well, maybe it was by accident. I just was saying two shitty things. Okay, maybe one is different. What's the other thing people have been saying? Oh, would you rather be murdered with a gun or a knife, basically? And I know this is going to be more.
I'll take a gun every time.
Oh, it's faster. Anyway, I sound stupid right now. Let's listen to a guy who's not stupid.
That's why people listen to us.
For like another 30 seconds or a minute or something.
And the fact is, in those long emails, you should read them. They're appalling, including calling Dr. Cornel West trash. It is the whole. It exposes the way the system was rigged. I'm talking about the Democratic Party, the denial of independence, the superdelegates, the stealing of the caucus in Nevada.
This sounds so familiar.
Corporate money and super
like it
PACs
happened
that
4 years
Clinton
later
campaign.
again.
The fact is, Clinton has a track record, and it's one that has abandoned children. I mean, she and her husband destroyed welfare as we know it, and 70% of the original recipients were children. This debate over, I don't like Trump, but Trump is not the phenomena. Trump is responding to a phenomena created by neoliberalism, and we may get rid of Trump, but we will get something even more vile, maybe Ted Cruz.
That is a good point. point to end on. And also, that was when they were going to throw it back to Robert Reich anyway.
Is Ted Cruz worse than Trump?
I actually thought I thought the same thing. I was like, that example is kind of bad, but then I remembered he's speaking from the perspective of 2016, so it kind of makes sense that that's who he would pull out of the hat.
I don't remember. Actually, I don't know if I ever knew. Ted Cruz is the same as Trump, right? Because all the RNC people are the same.
Well, I think his point is that as horrible as Ted Cruz is still probably more competent as a politician than Trump, but they have the same kind of evil indifference to life, whatever, like then basically the same policies up and down. And this is a theory, a narrative that's been going around on the left for a while, is that if Biden wins, or if Trump doesn't win the second term, it's going to be sort of like a reinvigorated GOP in 2024.
Tea Party Part 2.
Well, and there's this guy going around, Tom Cotton. A lot of people are mumbling about him already being the next fucking president, you know? And he's like...
I do know.
But he's more of a politician than Trump. Like, he knows how to behave and sort of change his mode of speech around different people and things like that, even though he's like underneath it all, like an undeniable like white nationalist.
I mean, this is also tied with like, have you seen the stuff that maybe what the RNC will do is almost take like a leftist stance where they start like wanting to do more welfare programs, but they're like very individualized to say white Christians.
Oh, I haven't heard that particular twist at the end that you said, but I've heard of the idea of like Trump's campaign, and this happened kind of. It was like at least making headlines. Like they were outflanking the Democrats from the left.
Yeah,
like which is. I mean, it's kind of like I think it's a kind of like standard move that the Republicans do during election cycles. And then, of course, once they win, like all of those promises or proposals go out the window. But like,
hey, that's not much different than the Democrats. Remember all those promises that Barack Obama gave us?
Well, that's the thing now, though, is nowadays they don't even give us those promises. They just say, no, fuck you. We don't need you. They
just say the optics will be better. The world will like us more. We will look better. We were better educated. They are not educated. And random shaming of the South, because as everyone knows, everyone from the South is dumb. Yada.
All true.
Yada, yada. Yada. Oh, it's...
Get the last yada out.
Gotta.
Okay.
I mean, look, I know. I think the yada thing is Yiddish or some bullshit.
Is it? Is this cancelable?
And if you want to cancel me right now, don't worry. You're not the first person to cancel me, and I'll continue living past this point.
I think that's what we want more than anything, right? To get canceled. I mean, we'd be kind of famous, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, we can hang out with Don Jr., do fucking blow, and
I don't think I'd like Don Jr. at all.
Of course not.
But if he came to me and was like, "Hey man, want to do a line of blow?" But yeah, sure.
And then we just talk, and then you just yammer the word cancel.
I just imagine it. So I bought a yacht recently, and I'd be like, "Fuck, you bought a yacht? That's fucking crazy."
That sounds like a really terrible conversation to be a party to. Okay, so Hedges made a lot of good points there, I think.
More points than we've made.
Probably, but also, I mean, the reason I play this is it segues into something I've been talking about for a while, maybe my whole politically aware life, the need for a viable third party. That's why I liked Nader when I was like, probably like 17. I couldn't even vote yet, but I know that the idea of a third party that could actually take on Democrats or Republicans is seen as kind of a pipe dream. Like everything is designed to make that not happen. But the way I see things being different now than they were in, say, 2000 with Nader, or even in 2016 with Jill Stein, and or even now with the Green Party, is, first of all, you would have to like build a coalition of left-wing parties, of which there are like a fair number of, and you know, a lot of them are very small, like the like Socialist Equality Party and stuff, but they do have like presidential candidates. But my point is that Bernie Sanders showed us, this might be the most important thing, one of the more important things I think he did by getting popular, is that you can just raise more money than everybody with like small individual donations if people are genuinely excited. And I think if you combine that kind of enthusiasm of like the last two, especially maybe even the most recent Bernie election, I mean, he was outraising everybody left and right. Combine that with like a coalition, I don't know. You've got a fighting chance. It's better than going through this fucking cycle again and again and again and again, because it's never going to stop otherwise. We're always going to be told, not this year. Robert Reich is always going to say, vote for Hillary this year and the next 4 years. This is what he says later in that debate, which I didn't play, but he says, let's just get Hillary in there now, avoid the tragedy of having Trump come in, and then we'll spend the next 4 years from 2016 to 2020 building a great these are his words, like progressive party, third party. Robert Reich has been fucking sitting on his ass doing his dumb YouTube videos from 2016 to 2020. He's typing Kofefe and shit on Twitter. He's not building a viable third party. And people like him never will, because they're always going to go from one cycle to the next.
He said he was going to build a viable third party if Hillary won. Right. Look, he has an out. She didn't win.
Yes, but wouldn't you say that the fact that she lost is even more reason to build a viable third party? Because if she couldn't do it...
I try not to say anything.
But if she couldn't do it with all that popularity and all that historical election on the horizon...
She had Beyonce.
She had Beyonce, and she still lost. Okay? Wouldn't you say it's time to give up on the Democrats and make a new party that actually represents people's interests and so on? I would say, hell yeah, it is time.
Sign me the fuck up.
And it's frustrating because so many people just internalize this mantra of like, third parties will never work. Third parties will never work. They're not designed to work in America.
It's always going to be the Chicago Bulls versus the Boston Celtics. Always.
It's kind of a bad comparison because there's so many NBA teams that had rivalries with each other became fucking champions. But anyway, I see your point. It's going to be red versus green or whatever.
I watched fucking basketball for like I don't fucking care about sports.
All right. I mean, everybody hold your breath until next episode when Jason finishes that thought about basketball in his youth. I just think that what I'm personally going to put my energies into politically is a third party. Whether that means trying to amp up one that already exists, like the Green Party, which I don't think is the best idea because they are small. I mean, out of all the left third parties, they're probably they're the biggest one.
They're definitely the biggest one.
But like, if the Green Party consolidated with, say, all of these like fragmented, smaller like socialist parties, and just with all of the people who cling to the Democratic Party because it's the only game in town.
Imagine if they consolidated their entire efforts with the DSA.
Well, the DSA is not that big. The DSA is like 500,000 people, like at best.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But I mean, okay, but yes,
I'm dreaming.
In my scenario, I'm including the DSA as being folded into this whole thing as well, and why wouldn't they be? But I don't know. And I mean, some people might hear me saying this and think it's ridiculous and laugh, but show me a better alternative. And just voting blue no matter who for the rest of my life is not an alternative. I don't know. I think maybe that's all I got to say about that.
We deserve more than the Bulls and the Celtics. We deserve more than Pepsi and Coke. Give us another damn option.
The one more thing I wanted to, beyond just the third party stuff, but I think it's important to remember the idea that Trump is as a symptom. Of course, he's also causing things to happen as well, but removing him just opens a vacuum for someone like Tom Cotton or so on to step in. A true fucking Nazi, okay? Someone who's competent. I remember when Michael Bloomberg was running, people were saying how terrifying it would be if he actually won. It would be like a Trump presidency, but with a very competent, super independently wealthy fascist. That's what Michael Bloomberg is, you know? And that's the kind of shit that this opens us up to if all we do is worry about getting the orange man out. And it shows the Democrats that we're willing to take all their abuse as well, and with no trade-off. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was just going to say Bloomberg was a prominent speaker at the DNC. So.
Oh, yeah. So was fucking John Kasich. So we're a bunch of Republican chuds. It's the whole thing's fucked up. We've been talking for a while. I think that's it. Should we end on a better note in a second here?
So if you're going to vote, do the hopeful vote. Vote fucking green. Vote a third party. Maybe they'll get 5%. Maybe they're probably not going to win. They're definitely not going to win.
They're not going to win.
But maybe they'll get funding.
Yeah, the 5% threshold is important for a party like the Green Party.
And getting that funding would probably do more good for the country in the long run than whoever the fuck the president is next time. Because trust me, it's going to suck either way. I mean, I would probably prefer Biden to win just for... Fuck, I don't know why.
Cosmetically?
Yeah, cosmetically, it's better optics, and I won't be as embarrassed to talk about being an American, but...
I'd still be embarrassed. He's fucking
but
senile.
They fucking suck. They both suck so goddamn much. So, if you're on the fence about it, just choose the option that might make things better before the heat death of the universe.
Indeed. And very little time left for that one. All right, let's mosey on.
But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?
All right, folks. General recommendations. I'll go first then. I've got 2 recommendations this week. The first thing is I would recommend that people just remember something that happened just about 10 years ago, almost exactly. In 2010 in China, I don't remember exactly where. I think sort of near Beijing, but there was a insanely long traffic jam. It was all the estimates I'm seeing here now are minimum. It was 9 days long. Maximum, it seems, it was about 12 days long. Some individuals spent as long as 5 days stuck in traffic. Just think about that. It's madness.
Literal hell.
And I mean, it just means people were living out of their car and like occasionally pushing their car forward. Because I think everyone I would turn off the engine at that point.
Did vendors show up selling food? Being like, you're in the traffic jam of the century.
I think people did. And when it was happening, I remember having this weird desire to wish I could kind of go see it, because it just seemed like such a weird anomaly of modern civilization, I guess. Anyway, it's just something to remember and think about, just as a curiosity. It was a weird thing, and I was just reminded today that it happened. Yeah, it was like 10 years. It was exactly 10 years ago. The second thing I want to recommend is tied into the intro to the podcast today. The spoken word sort of poetry sample thing comes from this television show called Devs, which was created and written and directed by Alex Garland, who was famous for making the movie Ex Machina, which was like his directorial debut, which was mind-boggling to me. Kind of in the way that I was blown away to find out that the director of Hereditary was a first-time director, that Ari Aster fellow. Anyway, ever since Ex Machina, I've told myself I will check out anything this guy makes, and I have, including Annihilation, and then now this. It's an 8-episode show on FX, I believe. You can find it, I don't know, all over the internet probably. Starring Nick Offerman, who I generally like, and Sonoya Mizuno. She's the actress who is in Ex Machina, kind of in that famous scene where Oscar Isaac starts dancing for like no real explainable reason. Anyway, they're both great as the leads in it. I don't even know how to summarize the show. I mean, you watched it, you loved it.
I love that show.
What do you have to say about it?
The summary of the show is
was about a technology,
tech entrepreneurs or tech geniuses, those people that the Elon Musk of the world, they get away with too much.
Except actually smart in this show. Elon Musk is kind of an idiot.
But
I know what you mean, though. But Nick Offerman plays like a kind of, I don't think he's based on anyone particularly, because but he's just like he's got like unlimited funds because he made some like tech breakthroughs, and he's spending basically all of his money researching this technology that basically allows people to, how would you say
watch different time streams to like basically do AI representations of like what would happen if a different choice was made.
Right. So then that drops in nicely to like the free will v determinism kind of philosophical debate. And it's not like I personally don't think it's too heavy-handed with that. I think it's not like a very like technical philosophical show, although there's elements of that there, but it's a real like humanistic drama as well. And Sonoya Mizuno is excellent as like she's like the real lead, I feel like, more than even Offerman.
Yeah, she's definitely the lead. It's amazing that they give a woodworker such a big role in acting.
Offerman. Yeah. I think this is the first time I've seen him in like a real serious kind of role as well. But
yeah, me too.
I am digressing endlessly. It's a very, very good show in my opinion. Some people I saw online like very reliably were talking a lot of shit about Sonoya's performance, which I couldn't understand at all. They said she was wooden and a bad actor, but
would you say she was being canceled? Sorry.
I think so. I think those haters were trying to cancel my nice actress lady. Acting is great, the writing is great, the directing is great. There's really very little to criticize in my opinion about this show. It felt like, I watched it all in one sitting. It felt like an 8-hour film, which is kind of the way you want these things to be. I don't think there's any plan to continue it, and I kind of would almost prefer it that way, even though I loved it. I think the way it ended was satisfying, and I think if it continued, it honestly could maybe turn out kind of bad, but that's my recommendation. Those are my recommendations. Devs, DEVS, stands for like development, I believe. And the Great Chinese Traffic Jam of 2010. Yeah?
I'll end on a lighter recommendation. So this past week I got mildly obsessed with Fall Guys, which is a computer game, and I think it's also on the PlayStation 4. And you are a cute animated blob in like a hoodie, and you play with 60 other people online, and you try to run through an obstacle course as fast as possible. And there's lots of stuff in the obstacle course that's going to make you fall down. And it's silly, fun, and very cute. The game's already incredibly popular, so I don't really have to recommend it. But if you're looking for a way to mindlessly spend your quarantine, it's fun. And it's great at getting your mind off of things.
Is this what you were up to yesterday?
That's what I was doing yesterday. I was playing Fall Guys until 4 a.m. because I was like, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to get a crown. You get a crown if you go through like 8 obstacle courses or some nonsense. I don't actually know the number one. I'm bad at video games. I like playing them, so I haven't got a crown. But I know you get a crown if you win all the levels.
Well, I had never heard of it, so recommendation not in vain. Did you say you play with 60 other people?
Yeah, you start with like 60 other people, and you go through stages, and like you qualify for the next stage, and so many people don't qualify, and eventually you want to get to the top 8, I think. But they're all just kind of like silly mini games. It's not like a first-person shooter or a game you have to invest a ton of time in. You're just playing silly mini games that take about 2 or 3 minutes, and then you move on to the next stage.
So when you say 60 other people, I'm very game illiterate. So
it's a fully online game, so you're just connected with like 60 other people also playing the stage with you.
I get that, but I'm saying like, so are like their avatars, their characters all on the screen at the same time?
Yeah, they're on the screen at the same time. And
see, that's the part that seems wild to me, because it's like 60 characters all on the same screen.
You could also like say, if you're losing, you can grab their avatar, there's a grab button, and slow someone else down and kind of sabotage them. You know, if you're like, well, I'm bad at this game, but it's fun that I can sabotage someone else who might be good at this game.
Sounds like a hoot. I kind of want to just see what it looks like, honestly.
I'll show you later.
Cool.
I should have brought a controller with me, but I can show you on my laptop.
Nice. I guess I could probably like check YouTube. All right. That's it. This may possibly be... No, I don't know.
This could be
fuck the RNC, fuck the DNC,
fuck the police.
Because I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager, Good night.
Adi. Wait. I said that last time. Sayonara. Sayonara? Oh, fuck.
Sayonara, suckers.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.